Hey, social media. This is Chris Versace, Tematica Research's Chief Investment Officer, and I'm coming to you today, January 16th, Tuesday, the first real day of fourth quarter earnings, to talk to you about a couple things that we're eyeing here at Tematica. And as you can see, it's a pretty decent sized list. So I just want to kind of get started and say, yeah, we are starting to see fourth quarter earnings pick up. I think, expectations are rather high given tax reform. I think the gist here is that people are expecting companies to lower their tax rates in 2018, boost their EPS numbers, and that's going to see Wall Street in turn raise their earnings expectations. We'll see strategists turn around, boost their targets for the S&P 500, like we've already started to see. Some targets now are around 3,000, 3,100. And it kind of prompts the question, will we see the market continue to melt higher as we go through earnings season? And I continue to think the answer is yes. Having said that, though, there are going to be some things to think about and watch. For example, later this week is the government shutdown. That may or may not happen. And if it does, if it's a short one, I don't think it's going to be very disruptive. If it's longer term, that raises some issues about whether or not certain checks will be sent, offices will be open, that sort of thing. So, the key here is going to be, if we do see a government shutdown, what is the duration of that shutdown and how disruptive will it really be on the current quarter? Remember, current quarter, we're also seeing a huge issue in terms of cold snap and some winter storms. This is bound to be somewhat disruptive to construction companies, those companies that are out there in the cold weather trying to build buildings, build homes, and the like. So, that we are seeing some issues. At the same time, there are other things, positives potentially to look forward to. Next week brings the World Economic Forum in Davos, and it'll be very interesting to hear what the global economic leaders have to say in terms of their economies, in terms of monetary policy. Remember, here at home, we are seeing the hard and soft data firm up a little bit. But for us here at Tematica, the real concern and question that we raise is about the benefits to be had of tax reform. We say this because even though the expectations are that more people will have more money in their pockets, businesses will have lower spending, the real concern is, will we actually see that matriculate, or rather turn into greater consumer spending, or businesses turning around, building new property, plant, and equipment, and going on a hiring spree? We say that because with consumers still very much concerned about rising debt levels and the need to service that debt, consumers might take a break and actually pay down debt, get their financial house in order. Not exactly a bad thing. On the business side of the equation, we still continue to see businesses struggling to find qualified workers. And I think that could result, once again, in businesses turning around and maybe using the proceeds from lower taxes to boost dividends, or come back into the market with very robust buybacks. Both of those would be good for shareholders, so kind of hard to get too upset about that. But again, the concern is, what does it all mean for GDP? And these will be some of the things that we're watching. From a thematic perspective, the retail holiday shopping season was a barn burner. We saw that in last week's December retail sales, where non-store sales were up 12.7% year over year in December. Just huge numbers. We're seeing that benefit not only Amazon, but UPS shares and some others. The key issue here, though, is two things. There are companies that are going to be left behind. Barnes & Noble, BKS is one that came out. They actually saw, if you can believe it, their online sales fall during the holiday shopping season. It's simply not a good indicator or any confidence in the company. At the same time, we're seeing other companies like Kroger sniff around and kind of replicate what Walmart is trying to do by ratchet up its exposure to the digital world, offering more services and reaching customers where and when they want to be. The chatter out there on Kroger is that they're looking to buy Boxed.com, that's Boxed.com. And we had the CEO several months back on the Cocktail Investing podcast. And I got to tell you, he's a great guy, smart. And I do think that at some point, someone's going to take them out. My thought was it would have been Costco, but Kroger, this could be interesting. And, maybe start to turn the ship at Kroger that's already dealing with the fallout from Amazon Whole Foods. So a lot to watch this week and next week, but we'll be coming at you with more. Stay tuned.